Hi, happy Saturday, everybody. Or should I say happy Texas beating Oklahoma Day, as it seems to be. That's for Larry Nemechek. Please send your regards and apologies and condolences to Larry Nemechek. But no, enough about football. We got Star Trek to talk about. Isn't that right, Starfleet boy?
We certainly do. It's like Star Trek Day. There's so many Star Trek days this year. It's so great.
Well, it's not.
We have
That's
another
not
Star
Star
Trek
Trek
Day.
Day. It's New York Comic Con.
Fine.
We've had a big presence at both the two big Comic Cons, New York and San Diego, kind of consistently every year for the last few years. Let me adjust my cap, try to hide my receding hairline a little bit. But yeah, so we have a new Star Trek Discovery season 4 panel to discuss, and also a new trailer to talk about.
Yes, we
So
do.
that's very
And
exciting.
a promo image also. I don't know if we want to talk about the promo. The what did they call it? Key art. The key art.
Jill is asking, or I should I say, Spock's green jumpsuit returns. She's asking, wait, we're not talking about Spock's
I
brain.
love that, by the way.
But no, there is no Spock's brain. Sorry to disappoint everyone who wanted to hear us talk about Spock's
Also, a
brain.
quick update. Next week is not Spock's Brain either. We always do a season
Season
recap.
2
So
recap
yeah,
over on the
so it'll be the
Starfleet
season.
Boys show.
Yeah, so it'll be the following week for Spock's Brain. So I'm sorry you did your homework really early. Spock's green jumpsuit
Yeah,
returns.
it's gonna be all disco today.
Yeah.
But that's not all either.
I'm
There's
wearing my
also
disco shirt. I have another. I should have worn the one that says disco, but
I
oh,
got
you're
the
wearing.
I got the shirt
That's
with the
cool.
new season 3, season 4
Oh, that's a
logo.
cool logo. I like that. Very
And
cool.
not the season, because I had a shirt with the season 1, season 2 logo, but then I had to ditch that last year when they rebranded with the new logo. So,
Very nice.
and we have another panelist joining us today. We also have Brian here
Yay!
to talk about Star Trek Discovery season 4. Brian, Sohel and I watched the New York Comic Con panel. We know that not many people were able to see it because they had it behind a paywall. You either had to be in New
It
York at the
was
con or pay the $20 to watch the convention.
It was
But
free to see the panel. Star Trek posted a link to a free stream of it, but they blocked out the trailer. They didn't. So did you pay the $20? Did you?
I
You
did.
did. Oh dang! I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
But yeah, we have the trailer to discuss too. So, Brian, did
Yeah.
you see the Discovery season 4 trailer, the new one that used a lot of footage from the original one, but also had a bunch of new footage as well?
No, I have been kind of distracted by the Doctor Who news today, and am only now turning my minds to things Star Trek.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that.
I wasn't expecting. Well, I guess I was halfway expecting Doctor Who news today, but
I saw some Doctor Who news and like didn't even care enough to like click on it or read it or whatever. I'll probably see it like months after it already airs, and jerks have spoiled all of it for me.
it's not that kind of. It's just a release date, but I was not
No, I mean
expecting
like
anything.
the actual episodes. I won't see
Oh,
them until they're like months old.
oh, but yeah, I have Tom Baker behind me judging me, so I have to get these things right. So
I was distracted by the. In fact, I'm gonna check the score right now.
Oh
But
my gosh!
I was distracted by the Texas and Oklahoma game. Apologies to Larry Nemechek. Yeah,
So,
Texas.
are you
If
ahead?
anyone cares, Texas is currently ahead 41-30 at
Dang.
the end of the third quarter. So it's a 2-possession game, but I think Texas has it. I'm gonna feel like an idiot if Oklahoma somehow comes back in the fourth. Oh, and we have a fourth panelist joining us, Robbie.
Oh yay! Who also was distracted by Doctor Who, probably.
Yeah, we're getting a bad echo on Robbie's end, but I think it went away. I think he fixed it.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
you fix it.
So is this trailer publicly available, or is it still
Yes.
behind the paywall?
No, the trailer's been out for a couple hours,
Oh, okay.
so you're behind.
Maybe I should sneak off and go.
Bounce out of here and go watch it, and then come back.
Yeah, I will do so.
But we're gonna talk about the panel first before we talk about the trailer. Robbie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I was kind of I was hoping that the teaser would kind of change my mind. The trailer would change my mind a bit in teaser, because I was a bit down on the teaser, but I'm actually really excited. Everything I saw, yeah, I can't wait for it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad y'all are excited. I do have some pretty big concerns going into Discovery season 4. That it's largely it feels like it's going to be more of the same. And I'm not crazy about this gravitational anomaly thing.
That's my only thing from the teaser trailer and this trailer is like I'm a little less apprehensive about it, but the gravitational anomaly, I was just like, I literally was just when we saw the teaser, I was like, oh no, not another.
But that's what they're
anomaly.
building the whole story around. It sounds
Right.
like, or at least that's the
But
primary catalyst of their season 4 story.
It's a little more interesting, and I guess we could dive deeper into it when we talk about the trailer. But I have some like theories that are making me like it a little bit more, based on what I saw in the trailer, that have to do with like Nexus type stuff. But that's all I'll say. I'll just
Okay.
drop that.
I don't really want to see more of the Nexus, but well, we should
Not many
we
people
should
do,
tell
Bobby. Not many
Robbie.
people do.
Well, I think the Nexus isn't like a terrible well, it kind of is a terrible idea. I think it's an idea with potential, though. Just its function in that movie wasn't great, but no. Let's talk about like the panel that we saw today, and then we'll get into the trailer talk in just a few minutes. But let's tell Robbie about some of the things that we saw in the panel on stage at New York. They had showrunner Michelle Paradise was there.
She was great.
And she was joined by basically the entire primary cast minus Doug Jones, but they had Sonequa Martin Green, Blue Del Barrio, who joined the show in season 3 as Adira. They had David Ajala, also joined last year as Book. They had Wilson Cruz, Mary Wiseman, Anthony Rapp. So I guess Doug was busy. But yeah, what was
someone said he's wrapping up filming on something.
Okay.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I was trying to watch the ball game when they mentioned that. But by the way, just how pleasant is it to always see this panel, this group on stage? Like they're always so chummy
fun.
with each other.
Yeah.
They're like the joke about like they're always like singing. When Mary Wiseman and Sonequa Martin Green just randomly start singing to each other on stage, you get the impression that they're like that on set. They really do like get along super well. They feel so much more like the Next Generation cast than the original series cast. So they're always fun to see.
Yeah, I think that vibe is definitely there, and they like, they joke around with each other on stage. There were a lot of humorous moments. Like we don't get a lot of juicy information from the panel. We do find out like certain things, like the president. We were all wondering about the president of the Federation last season and stuff like that.
Anthony Rapp called her Relic or Rallic.
Yeah, I think so. Relic or Rallic or something like that. Yeah.
But we did get confirmation that is the Federation president, and her species makeup is Cardassian, Bajoran, and human. It's a little bit of all three, which makes. I did hear people say that like they thought that she looked Bajoran. I could never really see it on the nose. Like maybe there's like, she might be a Bajoran Cardassian hybrid. I was like, no, she's a Cardassian human hybrid. It turns out all of the above.
It's all of the above. Yeah. So one of her parents had a dual heritage, or both of her parents had dual hair. I don't know. It's like
she looks a little bit more human than anything. Well, I don't know. We've never seen like a hat. Bajorans are basically humans.
Brian, you're on mute. I think you were trying to talk, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know what Brian's trying to say.
Sorry, I'm still getting started on the day, dropping things everywhere, metaphorically and literally. Yeah, how do you represent human in a Cardassian Bajoran hybrid?
You just make everything else less defined.
But all the Cardassian stuff is going to be less defined because of
the Bajoran.
Yeah, and what I don't even think, do Cardassians have much of a nose ridge, or
no.
would that also be less defined? So yeah, they would less define each other all by themselves. I mean, you'd end up doing something like putting the badge on the other side of the shirt to make and not wearing an earring or something to represent humanity.
The makeup design for her does suggest it's very like light in terms of like the Cardassian features. You do see the
Yeah.
kind of the shape,
Yeah.
that they have on their forehead.
We've seen a Cardassian Bajoran hybrid on DS9.
Oh, I forgot.
You could argue that we've seen 3 of them because we saw three different actors play the same character. So yeah, it looks like a pretty faithful representation of if you like cut that level of prosthetics in half to like throw in like a human half. What didn't look as faithful, I think, was another very popular Deep Space Nine alien species that's back in the season 4 trailer, and I noticed Jill has now adapted her ever-changing username to be that Ferengi has a Riemann grandmother. She also says low-stake episodes are going to be much more popular after this trailer. You think? And I see Stress Free K say that they keep missing these Comic Cons, but that's okay, Stress Free K, because we watched the panel. We're gonna recap it, and then we're gonna talk about the trailer. I have images from the trailer that we're gonna talk about. Sohel, what else stood out from the panel though? Like the other thing I noticed was when Wilson Cruz said that Dr. Culber had made a promise to Gray. That's like one of the subplots, I guess, of the season is that Dr. Culber's trying to find a way to bring Gray into the
right, and I
real
think
world, into the corporeal world.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that they do find a way, and that we'll probably spend most of the season with Gray.
Yeah, they've said that we will get that.
Yeah,
Gray will be a real boy by the end of the season.
It shouldn't be all that hard to do a rough patch job on it because they were standing in a room with the technology of how to do it and digging through its computer systems.
Go get some mobile emitters. Mobile emitters are like 200 years old at this point.
Yeah. They and the technology to apparently reach into blanking on the name, the brain of
the subconscious, the psychic technology.
But the person who has it, Adira, yes, Adira's brain, and pull out the imagery is the only new special tech. But apparently, it was sitting right there in the ship that was 100 years old or something.
That's wild that you take it that way, because I never took it that way. I thought that somehow the technology caught Gray's actual consciousness, like it's somehow non-corporeal and able to communicate with technology in that way, and that's how he appeared. But that I like that take too, because certainly Gray lives within Adira as through the trill. So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So either way,
I mean, you could probably, it's just a matter of that neural interface that reaches into Adira's mind to grab onto
Tall's too, like because because Tall preserves, I guess, in a way, all the previous hosts.
I forgot. There's 2 subconsciouses in there, so you might which one you have to grab is a little less clear, but probably Tal, as you say. That makes more sense now that I think about it. I'm being dumb, but
not at all.
But and if one wonders if this technology has been available for quite a while. Do lots of, I suppose this would be really driving against that disassociation taboo that you're supposed to let the dead stay dead in your previous host, and so resurrecting them as a mobile emitter hologram is probably, I would think, would really be poor taste in Trill culture, because the dead are supposed to stay dead. That's kind of their rule, or at least it was back during the 24th century. Maybe the rules have changed. I don't know.
Oh, so go ahead, Robbie.
There seems to be quite a resurrection theme in Star Trek right now with Picard and Hugh and Adira.
I mean, that's been a thing since 1984, so...
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There's a big one on Discovery. Let's not forget
it's
that
interesting
one.
about what you said about troll culture, Brian, because I think that Adira already shook them up pretty badly, but when they saw that she was able to present as a true linked truly linked with the symbiote and like have such clarity. I think that expanded their idea of what is going to happen. And now I wonder, it's really symbiont culture, right? Because now it's symbiont human, symbiont Trill. Like it's interesting what the possibilities are. I hope Discovery does explore stuff like that. Like that's a neat thing to go into.
Well,
I'd certainly be down for that.
So, Hel, what else stood out in the panel? Any other highlights?
Yeah,
before we talk about this trailer.
Among the cast, I really like David Ajala talking about his role and Book's place in this.
Yeah, what did he say exactly?
He said some stuff about how like he found his family, because there was definitely that struggle with his actual family, on Quajon in season 3, and like the whole thing of his interest in Starfleet, I think, is going to come into play, and wanting to be like of service or whatever in the Federation. But he didn't say that specifically. I'm trying to remember. There was a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor about growth and growing with Michael for his character, but I think they were making some double entendres there.
Speaking of David Ajala, someone in the audience tossed in his name to be in the running for the next Doctor.
And I'm so down for that.
David Ajala got super excited.
He did get excited.
No, I kind of think he's too like conventional, handsome, strong leading man to be the weird alien visitor from another world that the Doctor often is. But hey, why not shake it up and do something that different for the next Doctor? I'd be down for it.
I think he could totally pull it off. I used to think like Idris Elba would make a great Doctor Who too, because they're kind of like both buff guys and kind of like that, like, and I always wanted that take on the Doctor. So maybe Idris is aged out, so maybe like another handsome stud type person can do it who's a little younger.
But it was cool that David Ajala was excited about that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, like he looked like, oh yeah, I would totally love to do that.
He didn't say Doctor Who.
I mean, he's from England.
Yeah, so. I know.
He fits all the outdated criteria to be Doctor Who. Sure.
I've spent so much time spent so much of my life with people having no idea what that show is. That it's always just makes me happy when somebody famous recognizes the show.
Yeah, it was the show that was like really cool to watch between 2005 and 2017 when there wasn't new Star Trek on TV.
Right.
That's the function it serves in my life, anyways.
But the other overall, like my, again, Father, like with David, with everyone, just overwhelmingly, they were talking about how like difficult like it was filming in these times, like how it was hard for them to kind of like do the actual filming stuff with being in COVID,
the COVID
protocols, yeah, and stuff like that. And that was like a thing that they talked about for sure, and like kind of conveyed, and they said that was going to somehow tie into what we see in Discovery season 4. I'm not sure how, but it's gonna connect. So that's curious. That's something curious.
I think there was a wonderful sense of family from the whole crew. And Sonequa Martin Green was very bubbly, which was really nice, and they were all answering really interesting questions. I'd never thought about Star Trek Discovery when one of the people in the audience said that for them Discovery is going back to Star Trek's roots. I found that really interesting.
Yeah,
he said that he liked that they were dealing with situations and not a particular villain. Kind of like, Star Trek 4 was the example he cited, where it was like, we have to do this time travel scenario to go bring back an endangered species. So, that's what he thought, like with the burn, it was dealing with the situation of a child's grief, or with season 4 dealing with this gravitational anomaly.
I think he could be a little more fair, though, because we did have the mustache twirling villain in Osiris, so we did get both.
That's what I was thinking of when you said
my concern. That's my concern with going into season 4. I don't think Gravity is a very compelling villain. Like, there's this anomaly that makes like gravity not work. Okay.
Well, did you see the planet blow up in one scene? I mean, there's crazy shit going on. Yeah,
it's going to be hard to build an entire season around that. So it does kind of seem like the anomaly is going to be the gateway to something else. We're going to learn that, there's more to it. There's, something behind it. There's something connected to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if a big bad like figure does show up in the season. So I'm not thrilled at anything they've talked about with the story, but I am excited to see the characters. I like these characters, and I'm excited to see the 31st century of the Star Trek universe. They did a good job in season 3 of making me actually care about that 31st century, which, going into season 3, I said, like, I don't care what's going on in the 31st century. I want to see
you end up same here, like with the Navarre and the the Orion.
We're rebuilding the Federation.
Yeah,
it looks like Saru's doing stuff with the Kelpians. We're gonna see Canamar maybe.
The fact that the president of the Federation is so many different species, heritage wise, is like interesting. Like there's like a lot to unpack. A lot of people are posting that picture of the Ferengi also, and
and we're gonna talk about that in a moment when we get into this trailer.
I
mean, I guess I've been excited about learning about the 31st century ever since they said that's where we're going. I'm like, all right, I can't wait to see what this is like. So I feel like it's weird that you guys are all like, well, we didn't really care about it till they made us care.
I'll tell you what it's not that I didn't care about it. My reservations.
I didn't care about it.
Okay, my reservations about it stemmed from I was enjoying Picard being the most set in future Star Trek show.
It doesn't hurt Picard.
No, it doesn't. No, I'm just saying I was enjoying that, and I was like, oh, now I have to have 2 futures that
okay, that seems weird to me. That seems weird that was the issue.
I was like, I don't have time for 2 futures, but I was totally wrong.
There's a bunch of different time periods, but no, like Star Trek.
Infinite prequels are fine, but 2 futures, that's just too much.
That was my main concern, but I got over it like Fathery. Now I give a huge crap about the 31st century. So
my issue is just that it's so unrelated to anything that I cared about in the 23rd or 24th century. So it might as well not even be Star Trek at that point, because it's just.
But
I have zero connection to anything going on, but they set up enough interesting stuff in season 3 that now I want to see I want to see our Starfleet, our kind of like diminished Starfleet, continue their crusade to rebuild the Federation.
Yeah, 100%. We got.
I want to see Admiral Vance. I want to see the Saru doing stuff with the Kelpians. I want to see the Co-op Malat and what they're up to. The panel ended with Kennedy from Women at Warp. If you're not following her on Twitter, you need to be Kennedy at Warp, I think is what she goes by on Twitter. But
that was a great moment.
Sang a song to Adira that was quite touching, it looked like.
Honestly, Kennedy stole the show a little bit.
She did.
But good for her. Yeah, good for her. It was awesome.
Do y'all want to talk about this trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure that's what most people are here to see. So after stalling for 23 minutes,
yeah, I think that's good coverage of the panel.
Let's give them what they want.
Let's give them what they want.
But the trailer opens with a lot more of the, I guess, teasing of the gravitational anomaly, where it's like the Chris Nolan-y Inception thing, where like you're like on the ceilings and the floor and stuff.
Which is exactly the sort of stuff science fiction and Star Trek type shows should be doing more of. So is messing around with that whole ups and downs. Plus, this show loves to flip the camera. Now they have an excuse to flip it.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's this one sequence in the trailer where we see the spore drive jump sequence, and it like intercut that with also like the camera on the bridge. Like the camera on the bridge is like spinning around in sync with how like the ship spins around when it does the spore jumps. But we see, I guess, like a visual representation of the gravitational anomaly, and it kind of looks like how black holes have been depicted in recent years, where you see kind of like the curve of the
It
I don't
also
know.
looks like an eye, which is so weird how modern Star Trek is obsessed with eyes. Like it looks like in that one shot, it looks like an eyeball.
I never noticed it until one of y'all pointed out.
But it's true, and like the
Because
opening
the
shot of
CBS
Discovery
logo
is
is an eye.
oh
right?
true. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's like an Easter egg.
The
Okay,
first
It does
shot of
kind of
this-
look like the CBS
it
logo.
does.
I'm sure there's lots of haters that can approve of the idea that the CBS logo is running around destroying the Star Trek universe. I love it, but I mean, I'm just saying I can't help but make that connection. I mean, it looked like a bit of an eye in Interstellar as well, so I think it's just the nature of the shape to some degree. But I suppose they could have had it look like something else, since it's probably something more than just a black hole.
I mean, we saw a modern looking black hole on Lower Decks a couple of weeks ago in IX Scrutus. And we saw one in season 2 of Discovery when the Telosians made Michael and Spock see a black hole instead of Talos 4.
That was cool. That was a really great, fun sequence, visually and excitement wise.
And we see Michael Burnham. I don't know what happens to her, but she's somehow like injured. She wakes up in sick bay. Grudge the cat will be back.
Yay!
We still have our little Starfleet base that has the that shield bubble around it. I'm not sure if they've added any ships, but it looks like that they're still kind of in their little temporary sanctuary. They haven't relocated to a new like permanent home base or home
anything, yeah.
planet or anything yet. What do y'all think about seeing these new uniforms in action? We got to see a lot more of the red and yellow blue uniforms that they showed us in the teaser trailer.
They really pop on the dark bridge. I thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah, I like these uniforms the most of all the disco uniforms so far.
I wish I liked these as much as I want to, because I really wanted them to update their uniforms ever since season 2 when I saw what Pike and his Enterprise personnel were wearing. I was like, oh yeah, they should get those uniforms on Discovery in season 3. And then instead, Discovery went into the far future.
Right.
And then I was like, oh yeah, like they should get some colorful uniforms at some point here. The gray Starfleet uniforms that Admiral Vance and his people wear, they're just a little too militaristic and sterile and neutral and kind of Nazi-ish. So I was like, let's just take those but make them like red, blue, and gold. And then they did that, and I'm like, ooh, it still doesn't look quite as good as I wished it did. So I don't know what I want with the uniforms, but I appreciate the change.
Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around them. Honestly, they just, every time I see them, I think, what happened to their uniforms? Which is not, so I need to get over that hump and start actually, viewing them properly. But I like the idea of it. It's definitely they're definitely pushing the more bright, optimistic-y kind of Star Trek with those uniforms. Those are not the uniforms you put the crew in if you're going to do grimdark. So they're clearly leaning into that. So yeah, I in general like it. I do wish we could now at this point get some sort of line or two of dialogue explaining why there's no uniformity to the uniforms, even within the same facilities, like on Federation headquarters.
Brian, did you see Star Trek Deep Space Nine season 4 when Cisco went back to Earth and everyone was wearing Next Generation uniforms?
Yeah.
And then around the same time, Voyager did the episode Non Sequitur where we saw Harry Kim on Earth and everyone was wearing Voyager uniforms. It's like uniforms are not uniform in Star Trek.
Yeah, and you can actually go all the way back to TOS and
Cerritos versus Titan uniforms.
Yeah,
like the only time.
That's why I feel like it's gotten to the point where it would be nice to have a couple of lines of dialogue to kind of cement how this works. Are there like massive collections of uniforms that every commanding officer can just pick a set and, okay, this is the set we do on my ship? I mean, just it would be fun. Maybe we could show at the beginning of the first episode Michael picking the uniform for the crew, or people talking about whether or not they like Michael's choice, just to kind of set up, oh, that's how it works. because at the moment it just feels like calling them. It feels like there should be something, and they should hang a lantern on it at this point, especially since they made such a big deal at the end of the previous episode. Look, we've got these uniforms, and the next
And
episode,
you'll never see us in them again.
Yeah, next episode they're apparently in different ones. So, I feel like at this point it's time to throw the continuity whores like me a bone. So,
no, they don't. I don't think that's a high priority for them. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get like some uniform talk.
Yeah, I do feel like Discovery's not the show that's going to throw me that bone. They seem to care the least. So I'm ready to be disappointed.
I just assume that not everyone's switched over yet. Or maybe it's only the Discovery. Maybe only the Discovery has these.
Yeah. I also have a headcanon that maybe since technology is evolving so fast and we know that these uniforms all have like intricate technology, they're not just like clothing, like they warm you in cold environments to a degree. They like regulate your...
No, they don't. They don't because we see them wearing some extra winter gear later in the trailer.
No, I know, but it's mentioned, I think, on screen that like they're like spacesuits, kind of like there's like
Worf says that Starfleet uniforms are like designed to like keep you like comfortable in various environments.
But that's like
so they don't work in extreme cold because every time someone goes somewhere.
But I mean like moderate changes, like right now I layer when I go out because sometimes you walk into like you don't have to layer in the future. It's just your uniform.
You do have to. We see them layer in this trailer.
Okay, fine. Whatever, Father. We don't want to get into. But where I was going with that was like maybe like every time they update technology, they also go, oh, let's just tweak the design a little, and so there's always like variations like popping up.
I'm kind of with Starfleet Boy that Starfleet uniforms probably actually have an operating system that gets updates from time to time. Not that it maybe in the 31st century that literally changes what the uniform looks like, but that they probably do have limited heating and cooling and drying stuff built into them. It's really absurd to assume that that clothes in the future would not do that. They certainly, by the time assuming humanity survives to the 23rd or 24th century, I'm sure these the clothes we wear will have all sorts of cool features built into them.
And I actually want to go further and say I'm a little surprised that by the 31st century we don't have where it's like you're just naked and this uniform appears.
That's what I was thinking. They would have TRICOM badges. So I mentioned this to y'all recently, but the TRICOM badges would be so advanced that you'd like put that on and then you'd be able to probably like replicate a uniform around you. Exactly. Then you have to deal with like an energy supply issue to like have like the matter. Maybe if it's like a mobile emitter, like the Doctor's mobile emitter, it would just create like a holographic uniform around you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want if it fails.
Functioning, you're naked all of a sudden.
Yeah, I can absolutely see civilians wearing holographic clothes. I would think for the military, just like a helmet is kind of we hope we don't need it, but we're going to prepare for possibilities. You would have something that was actually replicated, even if it is replicated by a little box on your belt. Or
they could do an episode called The Naked Time 2, which is all about the technology failing. Instead
of computer virus has gotten into our TRICOM badges, and we're going to do that Austin Power hide the naughty bits for the entire episode.
I didn't know that we were going to talk about the uniforms for 20 minutes. But,
sorry.
I did want to talk about the comment about them not moving the headquarters to a planet. I mean, it's the Kelvin universe, but they sort of make a big deal about Starbase Yorktown being deliberately in space because of the symbolism it represents.
Neutral ground.
The symbolism could apply to this Federation/Starfleet headquarters as well. So they, I don't know if that's what they're going to invoke, but if
they do that, I'd rather it like eventually evolve into kind of a happier, cheerier place, like Yorktown when we see that montage of the Enterprise arriving.
You always feel like you're hiding when you go into this Starfleet headquarters.
Yeah, the circumstances are different. They are in a like a walled city, basically, being the last of their kind.
It's a cool visual, and if you watch it on Paramount Plus now, they stream in HDR, and it looks really cool with the high dynamic range. How you have like the bright brights and the dark blacks. So if you have an HDR TV, it looks very impressive. But in season 3 when the Discovery first arrives there for the first time. It's beautiful. But yeah, we see not only people in various Starfleet uniforms at the meeting, but we get a look at our Federation president, who we now know is named either Rallick or Relic. I wasn't really sure what they were saying.
I want
think
that
Rallick.
pin.
I'm going to
That's a
go with
cool pin.
Rallick. I don't think they'd name her Relic just because of the context of that.
But she is a hybrid of human, Bajoran, and Cardassian descent.
Her pin reminds me a little of this, but I kind of want her pin. It's very cool.
I'm guessing if you get close, it's that UFP
it's
emblem.
This probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
The UFP with fewer stars.
Yes.
What was the name of our Vulcan president?
Tarina.
What is it?
Tarina.
Tarina.
Mic check. I think my mic's low. I'm sorry.
No, I could hear you. I heard
okay.
every one of those Tarinas.
Who people keep shipping with Saru, and we did see some chemistry there. We did see some sparks. She teased. I saw her tease in Vegas that there might be something going on with her in season 4. So it might be that Saru relationship. But
and
of course,
the big shoulder pads.
My least favorite Star Trek species ever, these dumb Discovery octopus heads. They get a seat at the table.
It's less like an octopus and more like a... I don't want to say.
Fathery, I don't think you're representing the Roddenberry ideals very well on this.
No, it's just I don't like over elaborate creature designs that don't allow actors to emote or express or be characters in any recognizable way.
But you also hate it when they have aliens who just look like humans. So it's clear that there's kind of this sweet spot that you have to hit, or Fathery's going to hate your aliens.
Wait, what's the name of that species?
It's called most of what Michael Westmore did.
What's the name of the species in Bab 5, the first episode, the ambassador who's like in that suit?
The game? I think
he's talking about the Vorlon.
Yes.
The Vorlons.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't like that species because it's unrecognizable? And
no, I love the Vorlon because they're meant to be like mysterious. And you can't, you don't see their faces. But there's an Orion, so I guess I don't know, but there might be some fallout with the Emerald Chain after season 3.
For
maybe
sure. I feel like that's definitely with. But
what's up with this Ferengi?
I think he's in. I think he could. Well, I like the idea that he could be with like a mixed with a Reman. I kind of dig that with the Reman-looking ears, like.
Or even a Vulcan.
I think there's two things going on. One,
or a disco Klingon.
One, it's like the Discovery production saying, "Let's see how far we can push it," because I think they love to do this. And then 2, it could just be after 900 years. Maybe Ferengi ears do evolve even further. Like maybe that's part of them that changes. Or, like.
I mean,
you could definitely explain it from like a continuity angle, like why Ferengi might look like this. And he might be the only one we see all year, or we might see a bunch of them that look like this. If this is how like just typical Ferengi look, though, I hate the design.
No.
I do think they look more like orcs than Ferengis, but yeah, like
it's kind of similar to Andy Probert's original concept for the Ferengi, where they did kind of have like these
a little bit,
yeah.
It's got that more evil look to them, less rounded.
Yeah.
I will say, if evolution works like it does in reality, then there's no way they would just evolve that much in just a few centuries. However, Star Trek's use of the word evolution has almost no connection to reality. So who knows how evolution works in Star Trek world? Maybe this is completely possible, but
yeah. And you have to account for like new kinds of evolution. Like we probably aren't going to evolve much physically unless we start augmenting. So augmented evolution might be a thing. And definitely like species have been shown to do this in Star Trek, like where they will enhance their abilities or whatnot. And so maybe this is an ideal Ferengi ear. Maybe this is the most.
I'd like to believe
this
he's
is like
just,
an enhanced
like the species
Ferengi.
of mixed. Like they're just mixed with something
that
else.
also is very logical because in 900 years, certainly
logical.
With all these...
Are you a Vulcan? Are you gonna film your bangs and go work on a science vessel?
I enjoyed the segment on Star Trek Lower Decks so much that I'm inspired to be as Vulcan as possible. But no, it makes sense that that like in 900 years there would be more of that, like more of
Yeah.
mixing and stuff like that, and so
And
that
Ferengi
kind of,
are absolutely down to fuck with other species. You know,
right.
the
Yeah,
They are
Quark
DTF.
didn't
So-
It's true.
discriminate.
so
I think-
And neither did Rom married a Bajoran.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
So who knows?
I noticed how hard the skin looks, just because I'm used to those kind of soft-looking Ferengi ears, and he looks kind of hardened.
It would be
Yeah.
a shame if they lost the ability to enjoy Umox with these new ears.
Yeah, who wants to give Umox to those ears?
This is-
Like,
this is
you
just
get
this
calluses
is-
on your hands.
This is just a circumcised Ferengi. Okay?
Oh!
Let's be
Oh my
honest.
god.
Like, it fits.
For whatever reason, like kind of the
It's logical.
bumpier faced Endorians in Discovery, those don't bother me. But doing this to the Ferengi kind of does. I don't know if I'm just so used to like the Ferengi I saw in Deep Space Nine, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think this is like-
it feels like it feels like that design, like that's something like they always had gotten it right. It always looked good to me, anyways. Whereas the Endorians had kind of always like a history. Like if you compare like an original series Endorian to a next generation Endorian to a Enterprise Endorian to a Discovery Endorian, you get a bunch of different Endorians. The Ferengi had kind of just been like a consistent vision.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, at least as far as their makeup went, their performances weren't necessarily consistent, but yeah, their makeup was.
I like that Lord X also kind of bridged those two kinds of Ferengis together as well, which is nice. But this is not about Lord X. One thing in your comments, Stress Free K says these Ferengi look far less stereotypically Jewish, which I very much appreciate. I never thought the Ferengi looked Jewish before, but I appreciate that a lot of
Yeah.
people did. And so there must be something to it.
Yeah, it was interesting that like all of the main Ferengi on Deep Space Nine were all played by Jewish actors, but
Oh,
you know,
gotcha.
I've actually heard like Armin Shimmerman talk about how like he never saw any like anti-Semitism implied with the Ferengi. How like, you know, a lot of the writers working on the Ferengi on Star Trek were also Jewish. And you know, Armin Shimmerman has said like if you go to like other countries, people compare the Ferengi to different kind of
Americans, I get that a lot.
discriminated groups. They're kind of like known to be like really like cheap or stingy, or like, you know, worried about money. Like some people like say that they're like the Chinese, or some people say that they're like, he even said like the Irish. They've been compared like the Irish. So but yeah, there definitely is kind of an unfortunate connection that can be made sometimes. I never thought the Ferengi as being like a visual representation of any Jewish stereotypes, but I don't know. I'm also like not a part of that community and probably don't know enough about it to have too many opinions.
There were, I think Stress Free K is right in the sense that in this is really complicated and weird, but during World War II, one of the propaganda type stereotype drawings of a Jewish person was to
It didn't look like a
make them-
Ferengi to me though.
No, they look like Nibelung, which is from like Norse. I mean, sorry, Germanic legend. And a Nibelung is that it's like, you know, it's like a troll, like a golem, and it like kind of like takes your money and takes the gold actually and takes it down into the Rhine River or something. Like it's a weird complex thing. But though the Nibelung do look like they could be like, you know, how Ferengi were in TNG. The Ferengi
More so
in
that
DS9,
I mean, this looks more monstrous. This looks more like a goblin or something. In my opinion, anyways.
yeah.
Doesn't
and
Luxana
I remember
call them trolls at one point?
trolls, yeah. So like those kinds of things were used a lot.
Yeah, and Kara
against
would say
Jewish-
that multiple
those kinds
times.
of like, yeah, those kinds of things were used a lot against Jewish people in propaganda in World War II. So I kind of see the connection, but I agree with what you were saying more, that it, depending on what culture you are, you're going to attribute those awful stereotypes with different other peoples. So yeah, it's just, that's what the Ferengi I think are wonderful at doing, is that calling attention to that kind of thought and that kind of behavior, because Cisco is certainly very biased against Ferengi in the beginning, and it's not till later when he like starts to have a relationship with Nog that he changes his mind. But he straight up says things like, I don't want you hanging around with those Ferengi to Jake. You know, like it's like so I like when Star Trek does that, but I don't think again it was in my mind, I never saw it as particularly Jewish, but I could see it. The
I'm
connection.
curious to hear from our live audience or people who watch this later on the replay if you want to leave a comment. But let us know if you like the Ferengi design, if you dislike it, if you have some type of caveat with it. You know, like for me, it's like if this is the only one of these we see, it's pretty easy to excuse. He's probably like a hybrid also, like our Federation president. They might even confirm that in dialogue for all we know. But if this is just kind of like a standard look for Ferengi and we see Ferengi look like this regularly, I'm really, really not going to be happy with it.
Do you think this is the red uniform toned differently, or is this an orange uniform?
No, I think it's a red uniform. I think he's probably a captain. That's why he's at this meeting. Seems to be like captains and first officers.
Burnham's uniform looks more like Robbie's red to me, the one he's wearing on his jumper, but this looks more orange to me. Maybe
I think it's just the lighting.
The lighting.
I think we're in danger of slipping into one of those dress debate.
It looks like this to me. So Hell, wouldn't you agree that like it's the same?
Yeah,
color as
I see it now. It's the lighting. Yeah, it's the lighting in the scene and the way it's shot. Yeah.
Do you think the Ferengi might be an indication we'll visit Ferenginar?
I hope not, because I don't want to see a bunch of Ferengi that look like that.
I will admit those ears don't look nearly as good at keeping the rain out of your ears as the traditional Ferengi ears. Which, when you see how much it rains, the crenellations on their faces make a bit more sense if you grew up in a world where it's raining all the time. You're like, oh, the head brow keeps the rain out of your eyes. The ears are kind of cupped over so that they have great hearing, but which you need when there's roaring storms all the time. But it also keeps the rain out of your ears unless you look up. So.
Wow, we spent a lot of time on the Ferengi. I'm sorry. But like, look how many captains or representatives there are at this table. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is a bigger crowd than we saw when they would do like these command officer powwows in season 3. There'd be like 6 people there. Here there's a lot.
Are we supposed to Are we supposed to assume that their pants have some sort of auto locking mechanism so they no longer need chairs? Because otherwise it feels odd that there are no chairs, especially when you could probably summon the chairs by pushing a button.
Just looks cool. It just looks cool if they're all like standing up at attention.
31st century briefings don't last longer than 10 minutes, Brian. So
okay.
Every one of these people, every one of these captains or first officers or whatever standing here, they're all thinking like, this meeting could have been an email.
Oh my god, could you please make that meme and post it on the internet? You need to just write that on that picture. That's amazing.
We're going to find out
beat us to
it. We're going to find out that they're all sitting on their starships calling in a holodeck, and they're all actually sitting down but just sending a holographic image of themselves standing up.
That could legit
and
be
they're wearing their
PJs
well. Or something. And,
that's legit. That could legit be happening as well.
I don't think that's what they're going to do, but that's too Doctor Who for this show. But it would be fun if they was.
Here we have Saru.
Yep, in uniform.
Saru is back in uniform, but we see he has like this little this different badge or insignia on his chest. So I think it might be he's there in some type of function as like a representation of Kelpians.
Right, he's got a special role. Maybe, I don't know what it could be. We'll find out. It'll be interesting to find out. That's crazy what's happening over there in that picture, though. Something's about to collide with that planetoid or moon or whatever it is.
Yeah, so I don't know what the anomaly is doing exactly, but they are trying to build it up as like a big threat if it's destroying entire worlds or whatever. But there's also like I'm saying this isn't just going to be dealing with a space anomaly issue. There's going to be bad guys because there's a bunch of action in this trailer. There's a lot of like shooting, sword fighting type of stuff.
Last season it was like some kind of wave or pulsing whole worlds out of their orbits and stuff, because that's kind of looked like an asteroid or another small moon or a body crashing into another. So yeah, it seems like this anomaly is throwing they said gravitational, so I'm guessing it throws the gravity constant off or whatever in the galaxy.
I could be misinterpreting the trailer, but it kind of feels to me like it's moving around, like it's a doomsday machine or a whale probe that's just running around smashing star systems with its, gravitational screw things up
That'd be
power.
kind of neat, isn't it? Something like V'ger that's like mobile.
Yeah.
They're going into it too, though. They are. It is confirmed in the trailer that they're going to go into the anomaly. So
well, the Enterprise
time...
went into V'ger,
right?
And Decker went into the doomsday machine.
It gives me vibes of the Nexus only from the fact that it's like an anomaly that's traveling around the galaxy and causing havoc in some way. And
yeah, I guess the Nexus had that mobility also.
Yeah, and so they're
that is kind of a cool idea.
I know that an anomaly might not be the most exciting thing for some people, but we haven't really seen an anomaly at this kind of scale, and I think that's what's interesting to me. We've seen loads of anomalies in Star Trek, and heard about them a lot in TNG, and just seeing them in full force, or one of them in full force, is interesting to me. I just hope they don't have some kind of convoluted mystery, and I should be happy.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of returning to basically a V'ger thing, though apparently they keep calling it an anomaly rather than an entity or a ship or something. So it sounds like they, at least for the first half of the season, we really don't know if there's a crew inside that thing of some sort, or an intelligence inside, or whether it's just some random storm. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of there being some sort of V'ger-esque threat. Now that I think about it, I hope that's what they do, and I'll be disappointed if it just turns out to be some random storm thing.
I'm not sure how much time they're going to deal with it just being like this gravitational anomaly thing, because I feel like that's just going to be like the early episodes. There's something flying around space, messing up gravity here and there, and then when they actually go into it or get close to it, they're going to learn there's more to the story. So it's either someone is behind this, or this is a side effect of something else that's going on. I don't know. What I'm kind of curious about, though, is, and I don't want the show to just be like a bunch of like running around fighting action type stuff, but I do want to know who they are engaged in battle with. We see a lot of Kawat Malat sword play, and there's also people shooting at them. There's like the snowy planet they visit that we see a couple of times. We see Tilly and Adira hanging out on some snowy, rocky planet. So I guess they were able to like get some location shooting out in Canada, while still social distancing and stuff. But they're shooting at people on that planet. There's a shot somewhere in here. I think it's right here. But they're phasers drawn shooting at someone.
That's cool.
So I don't know exactly what the details with that are, but I don't know. What do y'all think about the Kawat Malat being involved?
I like that organization a lot, so I'm happy for them to show up in all the Star Trek shows. So
yeah, they're pretty cool. I think it's neat that they still exist. They were introduced in Picard. I wish Picard would do more with the co-op a lot, but it's okay. I think I like seeing.
They have a guy on board the ship.
They do.
So there's going to be a limit to how far away they can get away from that without just writing that character out of the plot line.
I think Eleanor's. I don't know. But it feels like Eleanor's like destined for other things. I think his confidence is shaken in his calling of Kawat Milat. At least that's my read on it from season 1. But we definitely get a lot more of the Kawat Milat in Discovery. It looks like this season than we have, and they look like they're going to be fighting, which is pretty cool to see them in action.
That's Book's ship, right?
Was that? Yeah, it looked like it. What is this place too?
Book's ship gets blown up, maybe. There's someone like a disco crew member who looks to be sword fighting one of the Kawat Malat, so I don't know what's going on there. Okovich is going to be back.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this is Elnor's descendant. in the 31st century or something.
Maybe Kovic is the real villain of this anomaly. I don't know.
No,
There's something
I don't
about
think
him.
there is something about him, but I don't think he's. I thought he was the villain behind last season too, but I think he's not a villain. He's just mysterious.
PJ, if you're still in the audience, I sent you a link to come on if you wanna join us. I don't want Kovic to be revealed to be the bad guy though. I kind of like him actually seeming to care about Starfleet and the Federation and be a good guy.
I like him being an
season 3.
X-Files kind of guy too.
I'm
like...
I'm done with like sinister Starfleet. I don't want
Yeah,
I don't want
I
more
agree
of
with
that.
that.
After Discovery kind of did that with Admiral Cornwell and Sarek wanting to nuke the Klingons and eradicate their entire species, and then all the Section 31 stuff they did on Discovery, and then all the stuff with Picard of the Zot Vash had infiltrated Starfleet. I loved it. It was such a breath of fresh air for Admiral Vance just to be a good Merle instead of a bad
good
Merle.
yeah.
And people kept saying like, "Oh, I don't know if we can trust this guy. I think he's going to be bad. I think he's going to be bad." And I was just like, "I hope not. I hope we get through this entire season 3 and he's still a good guy." And so I was relieved when we did. Well, we didn't see much of him. We didn't see a ton of him.
It would be nice to be reminded why we keep Starfleet around in the first place.
Here. It looked like a bookship was attached to some kind of tether. And I think what gave me the Nexus vibes with like maybe illusions and stuff is just some of this stuff is so wild that I don't know how it's. I just feel like maybe inside the anomaly there's like some reality distortion stuff going on, like thought is real, can be real, that kind of weird stuff.
I don't quite know how that would connect with gravity, but sure.
Well, if gravity so like the laws of the universe start changing when you have these extreme, theoretically they could start changing when you have these extreme conditions. So like an extreme gravity situation, like even maybe somehow more powerful than the most powerful black hole. I don't know, I'm guessing at like the science here. But it reminds me of when when Kaczynski came on the Enterprise and the Traveler they went to that one place that was like beyond dimensions or whatever, where everyone was seeing stuff. So that's what I meant, like maybe there's a condition that could create like something that's beyond the normal laws of the universe because of the
a big ball of edge of reality has been thrown into the Milky Way galaxy, and as a side effect it causes weird gravitational fluxes. But
I don't know. That's I that's like a level of like weird theory crafting that I don't really want to go into. I'm curious about some of the stuff. Some of it I'm not interested in, but hope that I will be when I see it. I'm content to just wait. It's only a few weeks. November 18th is right around the corner. Just let the story wash over me and reveal itself.
Father, is that a known species back there? Is that a Jem'Hadar?
I think that's a Tellarite. I think that's one of the modern Tellarites with the tusks. Speaking of Larry Nemeczek, who's like the number one Tellarite fan, and also speaking of Larry Nemeczek, his Oklahoma Sooners have tied the ball game with a minute left. It's 48-48. Texas and Oklahoma tied, so I'm kind of nervous now. It sounds like a really good game.
You shouldn't have been. You should have been taunting him at the beginning of the stream.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go edit that out of the replay
video. Going back, I saw Owo boxing. That was interesting. Like,
I think this might be holodeck stuff. What if they're on like the Discovery holodeck now that it's been refitted with 31st
that would be like
century
a nice
technology?
tie into Chakotay boxing, which is a terrible episode.
I don't think it's boxing. I don't think you're allowed to like punch someone in the leg. It might be like MMA style fighting.
Yeah, they don't really have gloves on either. It looks like.
True.
So.
That's true. Good point.
But it's some sort of dueling ring.
But I like this like a fitness uniform, like variation on the uniform, which is pretty cool too. And you do see Burnham in the background cheering her on. It looks like right behind her.
Oh, I thought it looked like Burnham was going to pick up. Oh, maybe not. I thought she was going to pick up a weapon too.
That's probably not part of the rules.
Yeah, it looks like it was some type of sport or recreation. I mean, maybe they do like the age-old story of like the heroes kidnapped and forced to fight in gladiatorial battles,
It's
which Star
interesting.
Trek has done a few times, going all the way back to the
Yeah.
original series.
And there's the updated look of Gray for this season.
Oh, is it updated? What's
A little
different?
bit. Oh, maybe
The-
Gray. The actor's just older. Like, that could be what it is.
he looks pretty similar to how he looked in season, except not a Vulcan hologram like we saw at the end of season 3.
Is that how you describe your birthdays? I got an update.
I got an update look. Yeah, some people do redo their hair. No, but the hair looks a little sharper. What's going on here? What kind of hand is that?
This is is that
Saru?
what was her name?
Oh, Tarina and Saru.
And Serena.
That's a Kelpian hand, yeah.
Tarina, is it Tarina?
Tarina. It is.
Yeah,
a
that
Tarina.
sounds very Vulcan-y.
Yeah.
Someone might die though. Like or maybe this is like a ceremony, to, like bring them into
bringing them back into the Federation.
Bring them into the Federation, like handing a flag, or it kind of seems like it's like someone's funeral. Maybe
someone
dies.
Look at Burnham's uniform.
The president's look. She looks very Federation presidential to me.
And I think Robbie, you're pointing out Burnham is in. I think this is a dress uniform.
Yeah, they look great.
They do look great.
Yeah,
I wish that was the
more
uniform
form fitting. Yeah, it's more. They should do this, but with a less muted color. Like do this uniform, but with the color of the other one, and that would be perfect.
This should be just the standard.
Oh, and Saru is next to her.
Yeah,
he's in uniform also. But I don't like the red pants. I wish they had black pants, but with this top, and that'd be the normal uniform.
The collar looks a bit like a priest.
Oh yeah, I see that. What you're saying?
Yeah, the white collar.
It's a Prussian collar, if I'm not mistaken. Like the style, the uniform style.
We get a good look at Saru's. I guess this is some type of Kelpian Kaminar insignia. So I don't know if on his Tricom badge if he still has like the rank of captain, but I think he might just be kind of a representative of Kaminar, and that's why he's back on the ship. He does address Burnham as captain, and she's sitting in the captain's chair, so she still has command of the ship. There's some tightrope they're gonna have to walk of how does Saru continue to have like his status that he's earned, but also not be in command.
We've certainly had instances, I mean, not through any intentional means, but like there were like 3 captains at one time on the Enterprise.
On the Enterprise A, but I think everyone agreed that was like really weird.
Yeah, I suppose, but I guess like you could still have a high rank and serve a purpose on a ship like for special missions, and maybe that's exactly what it is he's a captain. He still retains the rank of captain, but he's just not captain of Discovery.
It's worth noting that that's really weird. Has never stopped Discovery from doing anything. Also, that emblem on the shirt could be nothing more than his equivalent of Worf's sash, where it's just now I get to wear some weird alien thing because I'm an alien. But
I like it. It suggests some kind of new, like it suggests Baul. We haven't heard anything about the Baul yet, but this is encouraging to me because it suggests a Baul Kelpian harmony, because there's the watchful eye, and it looks like maybe a Kelpian holding it. I don't know, or breaking it apart. Maybe I don't know what's going on, but the Baul had the eyes watching everyone.
Our flag, our seal for our people is somebody ripping apart our enemies over their head. That's our flag.
We don't have much time left. We need to wrap up soon. But I also wonder if Saru might be the official first officer on the ship because he has a red uniform. And Tilly, we saw Tilly, I think, much earlier in here. I'll try to find it, but Tilly is wearing blue, right? So maybe Tilly's the science officer.
Yeah, it looks that way.
There is a shot of Tilly in, which is not really in uniform there, but they're on their little voyage to the cold planet. It looks like that they shot somewhere outdoors in Canada. Probably didn't fly to Iceland for that one because of the COVID restrictions that they had going on during the show. But I think when we see her in that Starfleet base, there it is. She's in the blue uniform. I can't tell on the Tricom badge, but Sohail, you said that she is a lieutenant.
I saw that on Twitter, so I don't
Okay.
know. Not confirmed with my own eyes, but you're right.
So
I can't make it out on there either.
I think she might be the science officer. Maybe Saru is the first officer, and that's the way it's gonna play out. At the very end, just to comment on uniforms one last time, we also have Michael in that cool. Looked good.
Yeah, a lot of little. I mean, the show's just around the corner, so this trailer wasn't as like juicy as I would have liked it. But I mean, the season's.
I'm glad
just
they didn't show too much though.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
and some of the things that I'm not excited about, like dealing with this gravitational anomaly that might turn out to be too similar to the burn for my taste or whatever. I'm kind of bracing. Like I'm kind of like getting over that now, and it'll make it easier for me to enjoy the other things. So if you're gonna show me anything this early, I kind of want there to be like a little bit of the things I know I'm not gonna like, just so I can go ahead and start getting over it.
So here's the ugly Ferengi, and
yeah, like they gave it to you.
Exactly.
They're like,
here's the anomaly.
Here, people start getting over the stuff now, so you can actually pay attention to the show when it airs.
Our advertising department has advised us to put all the shitty stuff we can in the trailers.
Oh wait, the leather uniform wasn't the last costume we were going to talk about. The environmental suit that has like the Tron lighting looks kind of cool, and we see her flying around out in space at some point.
Yeah, and she's on the bridge of the Discovery having to wear the suit, so it's kind of interesting what the scenarios might be going on that would lead to such things. But yeah,
any thoughts from? Let's go one by one. Starfleet boy, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I'm just generally excited, and I can't believe November 18th is so close. We're getting it's right around the corner, and I'm excited to see episode 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all of them. Discovery wasn't my favorite Star Trek show. It's still not my favorite Star Trek show, but it's really like a show that I enjoy watching now, and especially season 3 was just like something that I vibed with a lot more. And so season 4 just looks like it's going to be more of that, and maybe with a few surprises, and I'm ready.
Cool. Robbie, what about you? Any final thoughts from you?
I wasn't a huge fan of the first 2 seasons, but season 3 I was more on board with, especially with the Trill episode. I thought that was fantastic, and it's great that we have these new characters, Adira and Gray. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing where these characters grow. Like Michelle Paradise said, I think it was really funny to see Wilson Cruz on the panel, kind of trying to give spoilers, but then not quite managing. And I wanted a wee spoiler here and there, but we didn't get them. But yeah,
Good.
it looks.
I hate spoilers.
Michelle Paradise was a good spoiler cop.
But anything else, Robbie? Is that it?
Yeah,
I didn't mean
that's
to interrupt you. Brian, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, I was more pumped for season 3 because the 31st century was this giant unknown, and I really wanted the ship to be a fish out of water, not knowing what the rules were, and being, have their tech all out of date, and kind of really being forced forced into some really tough situations, trying to figure out how to
bringing on Pike and making it like a little bit more of a positive, optimistic show, but. Then I was so disappointed with like the Red Angel storyline and how that culminated. Season 3 had a lot of neat ideas. I thought they handled the 31st century much better than I initially thought they would. And like I said, made me care about a time period I previously had no interest in exploring. But the whole culmination of the Burn storyline was a huge letdown for me. And going into season 4, it's just, I'll always enjoy these characters. I love Tilly, Burnham, Stamets. I really love Adira and Gray. Saru has been great from day one. So I'm always going to look forward to them. And I think, Brian, we actually do see some more like rebuilding the Federation stuff here. So at least, with Vulcans and Kelpians, I don't know who else, but that's the stuff that I'm curious about, and it's okay. It's okay that I'm not like super excited, I'm not like as hyped as I am as like I was in 2017. I was like, oh my god, we're getting the first Star Trek show on the air since Enterprise was canceled. It's okay that I don't feel that way about Discovery anymore, because I feel that way about Picard season 2. I feel that way about Strange New Worlds. Right now, I love Lower Decks so much. I'm so incredibly happy with Lower Decks recently, and I'm very excited to check out Prodigy in 2 weeks and see what Prodigy is all about. So yeah, I'm okay. If Discovery, to me, if I like it on the same level that I liked Voyager and Enterprise, and it never transcends the it for me, what the Star Trek shows that I experienced to a lesser degree, that's okay. I still like Voyager and Enterprise, and I still like Discovery. It's just I like so much other Star Trek so much more. But like I said, that's okay.
I would like to just say that I agree with Jace that I hope Discovery gets a full run, whatever that means to the producers of the show, because it would be a shame for any of the news. I hope what happened with Enterprise never happens to another Star Trek series again, because sometimes it takes a lot longer than 3 or 4 seasons to tell your story and to find your footing. And so I think, that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to for Disco season 4 and beyond, is that I know they're going to get tighter as they go forward.
Well, I think I think that their contract with Netflix. Remember, Netflix co-finances the show, and the contract with the actors is all for 5 years. I'm very confident it's going to get renewed for a season 5. At that point, I don't know. That might be the end of Discovery, but I mean that'd be a good run. And if they go for more, cool. Do more if you want. I'm here for it either way. I do have some tragic news though to end on, sadly, and that is that Oklahoma came back and defeated the University of Texas 55 to 48. So I don't.
This is not.
I hope no one tells Larry Nemechek about this. Yeah, like how heartbroken I am right now. But
I find it odd that we can't mention that other Star franchise, but we could go into great detail about this. What kind of sport are we talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's going to be it for today. But for tomorrow, we'll be back to talk about Star Trek Prodigy. We have a Prodigy panel tomorrow. They're actually going to show at least the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes, the people there. We're not going to be able to see it, but we're going to get to talk about the panel, and there might be a new trailer or something. So check us out tomorrow on Sunday for that. And then every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central, we are talking about new Star Trek Lower Decks. We have a season finale coming up Friday, and then we're going to be doing weekly coverage of Prodigy and Discovery season 4 later in the year. So on that note, we'll go ahead and shut her down for now. But until next time,
this was fun. Thank you.
Live long and prosper, y'all.